difficult question to answer, and everyone will have their own opinion on the matter. So today, I'm going to give you my opinion on that question. Is rock and roll dead? And in my mind, even in my opinion, it's a bit mixed, because rock and roll is different than rock music. Now hear me out. Oasis, the Beatles, Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin, Guns N' Roses, these are rock and roll bands. But bands like Linkin Park, Green Day, The Strokes, these more modern bands are rock bands. It's different. And they can be classic rock bands, but rock and roll is defined, as it's not just the music. And a great example of this is this son of a gun, Liam Gallagher. He is, or Oasis in general. They didn't just have the music; they had the swagger, they had the attitude, and that made them a rock and roll band. Just like Guns N' Roses have the attitude. Pink Floyd didn't really have an attitude, but the music stands up for it. So rock music is still alive, but it is struggling, because you have bands like Linkin Park who could have continued the rock genre. They could have done something a bit different, which they would have been. They did The Hunting Party, which was very heavy rock, and that was brilliant. And then the next album was shit. It wasn't rock music. They threw rock music out the window for a quick buck. Chester and Mike abandoned their sound to try and make some money. It's just as simple as that. And bands are doing that. And you take Green Day's new album, although it's supposed to be pure uncut rock and roll, it's that's their billboard. I don't know if I remember, I'll add it in the picture of the billboard, but it said something like, no Swedish songwriters, no trap instrumentals, and no features, just 100% pure uncut rock and roll. And it's not even. I like the album Father of All, which should be this one I'm talking about. I quite like it, but it's not exactly rock and roll. It borderlines. It's more like a car advert rock music, and so in my mind, and this is my opinion, the three last greatest rock bands are Nirvana, Oasis, and Blur. I know there's more in the 90s, there's thousands more, but my opinion from what I listen to, that would be, I know there's Radiohead, there's, but I don't listen to them, and I need to. I've listened to Paranoid Android, which is amazing, but it's getting distracted from the main argument. The days of the Beatles and the Stones are gone. And we still have, God bless him, Paul McCartney, and the Rolling Stones are still touring. So, I guess, so long as we have these older bands that are still around, still making great music, like Queen is still touring, ELO is still making music, The Who's newest album was great, rock and roll is still alive through these older people, And maybe I'll eat my words, and one day soon we'll get another great rock and roll band, just brand new band that comes through. But at the moment, rock music is full of bands like, I can't remember, Sleeping with Sirens, and the sort of bands that my now ex-girlfriend from a few years ago would absolutely adore. All these bands have the same sort of black haircut, and you know what I'm talking about. But rock music is not in a good way, and it needs to adapt to survive, otherwise it will just fall off the edge. A lot of bands, go away Discord, a lot of bands will end up like Linkin Park, where they're abandoning their sound. And Linkin Park could have, I'm not going to go there, I'm not here to talk about Linkin Park, that's a different argument. Rock and roll is still alive so long as we have these older legends keeping the flame alive. It's as simple as that. And one day in the future, sadly in my lifetime, when I'm 50, I'm 22, Not 23. I'm 23 next month, but I'm 22 now. When I'm a lot older, there will come a day when rock and roll is dead because people like Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger, I can't remember his name, that's silly, aren't getting any younger. And I hate to think about it, but it's true. And the day that we don't have either Paul McCartney, Ringo Starr, or Mick Jagger in the world, we need all three of these in the world. The day we don't have any of them, that's the day that rock and roll dies. But for now, the flame is alive, and we should enjoy it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time. Take care, everyone.